In this lesson, we're going to learn about adding and subtracting polynomials. So our goal is that we're going to be able to simplify these polynomials using combining like terms, whether they're being added or subtracted. So let's talk about some vocabulary first. First thing, these first couple should be familiar to us, but a variable is the unknown value of an expression. So usually it's the letter, and that's what we're usually trying to find. A coefficient is the number that's in front of the variable. So we could have something like 2x here, where this would be the coefficient and x would be the variable. Now terms are mathematical values with coefficients and variables. So this is a term, right? So this whole thing would be a term. And we've talked about like terms before. Like terms are terms that have the same variable and the same exponent. And those are usually what we're going to be combining in order to simplify our expressions. Now a polynomial, this is new. A polynomial is just a group of terms with various exponents and variables, right? We have different types of polynomials. We could have a monomial, which means that we're just going to have one term. Binomial, since bi means two, we're going to have two terms. And a trinomial, since tri means three, is going to be three terms, right? And so today we're going to take two different polynomials and we're going to be adding and subtracting them together. But we're going to talk a little bit more about combining our like terms first, just to kind of review and recap. So remember, to simplify expressions, we always combine all of our like terms. And remember, like terms have the same variable and the same exponent. So when I look at this, I see that 10x and negative 15x, both of those are the same in the fact that they just have an x. I cannot combine it with this x squared because this has the squared where these two don't. So if I take 10x minus 15x, first thing I can do is just bring down the 13x squared, and 10 minus 15 would give me negative 5x. So that would just be a review of combining our like terms. So now let's see how we're going to do this when it comes to adding polynomials. So we can either add these horizontally and just kind of match up our like terms, or we can do it vertically, and we're going to do one of each. So I've got these two polynomials that are being added. The parentheses when we're adding don't really mean much. We're just going to look for like terms from this one and like terms from this one. So the first thing I see is I've got this 5x squared and a 4x squared. If I combine those, 5 plus 4 would get me 9x squared. Okay? All I'm doing is I'm adding these two coefficients, and then I'm just bringing down the exponent and variable with it. I also have a 2x and a negative x. If I do 2x's minus 1x, that's going to leave me with just plus 1x, so I can write that as just plus x. And then the last thing I have is this negative 1 plus 2. 2 minus 1, or negative 1 plus 2, is just going to give me plus 1. So this would be my simplified polynomial. We can do the same thing now, adding these vertically. So when we add vertically, we're just going to line up what our like terms are. So I'm going to take my first one, this 3x plus 2y plus 1. That's going to be on top, and I'm going to add this. Okay, I've got this y squared here. I don't have any y squareds on this side, so I'm going to add my y squared out here somewhere, y squared. But this negative 1, I can line up with this positive 1 since those are like terms. So I'm going to say negative 1, and that y is positive. So when I add these up, I'm going to say 3x, bring that down. 2y, I'm going to bring that down. And now this positive 1 minus 1, those are going to cancel out. And then I'm just left with this y squared. So my simplified polynomial is y squared plus 2y plus 3x. Now subtracting is pretty much the same thing. The only thing that we're going to do is we need to change the signs. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the signs of all of the terms in the second polynomial, right? Because if I take this negative and I distribute it, all it's going to do is change all of those signs. Once I change those signs, Now I can just go ahead and regularly add these together just like we did above. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to take this negative and change all of the signs of this second polynomial. So I've got 5x plus 2. Now I'm going to change it to addition since we already did that negative. And so if I change this negative 2x squared, it's going to be a positive 2x squared plus 3x and then a minus 4 after I change all of those signs. Now let's find all of our like terms from one group to the next. So I've got this 5x and this 3x. If I add those up, 5 plus 3 would give me 8x's total. Then I have this 2, which I can pair up with this negative 4. 2 minus 4 would give me a negative 2. And then the last thing I have is just this 2x squared, but that doesn't have any like terms with it. So I'm just going to bring that down as is. So my simplified polynomial is 2x squared plus 8x minus 2. Let's try this one now vertically. We're going to, once again, change all the signs first. So I'm going to take this and change all of those signs. So I've got negative z cubed minus 2z minus 1 is my first polynomial. And I'm going to add that now to my changed second polynomial, which is going to be a positive z cubed minus 2z minus 1. Now let's line up our like terms vertically. So I've got this negative z cubed minus 2z minus 1. That's my first polynomial. And I'm going to add that to my second polynomial, which is z cubed. So I'm going to line up my cubes, minus 2z, and then minus 1. Now when I add these up, those will cancel out, so we can get rid of those. A negative 2z minus 2z is going to give us negative 4z, and negative 1 minus 1 is going to give me a negative 2. So my simplified polynomial is negative 4z minus 2. So to summarize, how do we simplify expressions that are being added or subtracted? Well, all we have to do is just combine all of our like terms. That's really it. If we are subtracting a polynomial from another polynomial, then first we want to change that sign to addition so that we can just combine our like terms and not have to worry about any signs at the end. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you had as much fun as I did, and I'll see you in the next video.